All right, we're back with the SilmFilm script discussion, season 3, episode 4, part 4. 4? Is it 4? Yeah, it's 4. Okay, yeah, 4. That's right. Anyway, so we're kind of moving along here. So far in Act 1, we've got a scene where, because I feel like the teaser is gonna be completely taken up by a frame.
Yes.
The first act, we have a scene between Thingol and Eol. A scene like kind of after that between Melian and Thingol, where she can express her misgivings about Eol, because she's got to know that he's not right.
Well, the other thing that could happen is Mablung can come back and report.
That's true, but I think that we should have the Mablung.
We should save that for later.
Well, I mean, that could still happen in Act 1. I'm just saying that we should do the Mablung running into the dwarves scene first, the first scene of it.
Yeah. Okay, so we do Thingol and Eol, then go to Mablung, seeing the dwarves from afar and having their discussion of what they're going to do.
I would do Thingol and Melian immediately after, because that scene, like, they could walk off and have their own separates. It's still part of the same scene.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sort of.
Okay. So
but it's a different conversation.
Thingol and Eol, Thingol and Melian, Mablung seeing the dwarves from afar and discussing what to do about it.
Right. And then Beleg returns.
Then Beleg comes back to Doriath and tells them about these orcs he ran into.
Yeah. And I think it's been discussed on the boards, but I think it's very important to note that Beleg bringing back the orcish sword is more of a, hey, this is what we're up against, rather than, hey, we need some of these things.
Yes, it was very strongly suggested that the elves should not copy anything from the orcs, and I agree with that wholeheartedly, that what we're trying to do here is start an arms race.
Right, yes.
And to give the elves a reason to want weapons from the dwarves.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not going to make the same thing the orcs have.
Yes. I do think that the Sindar are going to wind up with epically armor-piercing weapons as a result of this, because, I mean, the dwarves probably make awesome armor, and if their weapons originated in their clan wars, they have to be able to get through their own armor.
Right.
So, yeah.
Which is good, because I think Angband is probably putting decent gear on the orcs. Like, orcs aren't very wonderful soldiers for a lot of reasons, but
it's not because they're ill-equipped.
Yeah, in the beginning of the first age, they are perfectly well equipped, probably more so than anybody else. Well, okay, maybe not the dwarves.
Maybe the dwarves and the Noldor may get them a run for their money, but yeah.
Well, the Noldor definitely, and the dwarves, yeah. So okay, not than anybody else, but they're not starting off being a ragtag bunch of matched, like, they're being outfitted by a very powerful, both Sauron and Morgoth, like, built the lamps. Yeah, they know how to make things.
Yes.
Like, they're not behind the curve on any of this.
No, they're not. Well, and even in The Hobbit, he mentions how the goblins don't make badly made things; they're just ugly.
Right.
Like, their swords and armor, even in the Third Age, are good. They just don't look very nice.
So I do think we want to make sure we don't under-equip the orcs at this point. It's only later on that we see how ineffective the orcs are going to be.
Yeah, they're ineffective because of their physicality. They're not ineffective because, and their moral courage as well. They have none,
or lack thereof.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that they. Yeah, and that's why, like, the arms race the arms race is important, but it kind of takes a. I feel like we're going to get to the epitome of that very quickly. It's more of a tactical race.
Okay.
At that point, the arms race is, all of a sudden there's more trolls, and then there's dragons, and and then there's flying dragon. Like it just escalates.
Right. Well, because Morgoth figures out very quickly that with orcs alone, he's not going to accomplish anything.
Right. Yeah, because they get obliterated. When even the Sindar, when they're armed to the same level as the orcs, they just toast them.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So if we get the scene where, so in Act 2 should start with the first encounter.
Yes.
Between the dwarves and Mablung. I'm starting to feel like Mablung is almost the protagonist of the episode.
Well,
like ultimately,
it depends how quickly we get the dwarves to meet with Thingol.
Yeah.
If the Thingol Azaghal meeting is the end of the episode, then Mablung is the one who will make that happen. So that would make him the protagonist.
Yeah. Because getting them there is not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Not to mention, random road crew probably doesn't have the authority to negotiate with Thingol either.
Well, that's the whole point, is that Mablung and road crew are not where this needs to go. This is a starting point. They both need to go get their bosses involved.
Right.
And the desire was to have Azaghal involved, and he's king of Belagast.
Yes.
So somebody is going to go talk to him rather than the king of Nogrod. Or the road crew is made of dwarves from both cities, and they both go back and tell their kings, and the king of Nogrod is like, I don't care about the elves, just keep building the road.
Or he refuses to leave. He says, let Thingol come to me.
Right, exactly. So we could get that reaction from the king of Nogrod, and then in Belagast, Azaghal's like, I see potential here. Let me check this out. And he's at least open to a meeting.
Yeah. It wouldn't shock me that, because they're both going to profit from this, that the road crew would be made up of dwarves from both of those cities. And it gives us an opportunity to illustrate the power dynamic between those two cities as well.
Right, that they actually do work together, because you don't build a road together if you're not on friendly terms.
Right. Do they have different jobs
on the road crew?
Yeah,
probably. You could. Let's see. I'm trying to think what's involved in building a road. Obviously, you have to move some earth around. If
you need surveyors, you need
and then
you need flagger force. Let's not forget them.
Yeah, but also you're making big stone blocks to build this road, I assume.
Right.
If we're doing the whole Roman road thing, so you need some stone cutters and a quarry nearby and all that.
You either need a quarry nearby, or you need teamsters coming, like a constant flow of teamsters
bringing in the stones. Yeah.
Right.
Right. But somehow you have stone cutting being involved, which is a very dwarvish trait to introduce early on. So I'm fine with that. But it's possible, like the surveyors are from Nogrod and the stonemasons are from Belagast or something like that. And they're teaming up to get this job done.
I just want to make sure, I want to be careful not to divide it that sharply, because that's going to bring in some class distinction.
Good call.
It's just, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but surveyors and architects are generally considered higher in the socioeconomic strata than laborers. I'm just saying.
I know that. But I also know that stonemasons, that's a skilled job.
Absolutely, but it's still not.
I know. No, I do know that. But we did say we wanted Belagast to be making the weapons and Nogrod to be making the jewelry.
Yeah.
So if you want a class distinction, I'm thinking Nogrod would be the upper class version.
Yeah, it makes sense. It also makes sense that they're the ones who are like, hey, shiny stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I think we could...
They approach the situation from, oh, we'll just give the savages some stuff and they'll go away.
Right. Which explains why their king is not coming out to meet Thingol.
Right, yeah. Can't you just pay them? Like, whatever they want, just pay them. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, he's clearly not getting it. Like, it's not registering that this is not what he's been dealing with before.
Yeah. And the other reason I don't think it's as strict a class distinction as it sounds is that I have to imagine that stonemasons would have some respect among dwarves.
That's true. I'm more concerned about like the viewer's perception.
I know. Right, I know.
I mean, the Teamsters could be from Nagrod. That would help, I imagine.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have to be completely a white collar, blue collar thing.
Yes. Yeah. And have Flagger Force and uniforms from both.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
You know,
right.
like
so the guards.
Yeah.
So the guards are supporting both sides, and and we have manual laborers from both cities involved. And okay, yeah. So the surveyors could be from Nogrod, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't mean anything to the dwarves. That's definite. I'm just saying, like, to the viewers, there's still going to be. Yeah.
Well, this is an introduction. So like this tells us a lot about these cultures.
Yes.
So all the implications come through. Like we should be careful about stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like we definitely need to get some subtitled Kudzil, where they're talking about the elves and how stupid looking their stupid clothes are, and
and there should be like one dwarf in the whole group who actually speaks Sindarin and ends up as the spokesman.
Right.
Yes. So so most of the conversations in the background are, haha, we can say whatever we want because they can't understand us.
Right. Yes. So, although I feel like the dwarves wouldn't actually engage in that conversation with the elves able to hear them.
Because they keep their language secret.
Right, yeah. Okay. So we have the scene of the initial encounter, where one of the dwarves tries to buy them off, and Mablung, after overcoming his surprise that one of the dwarves speaks even broken Sindarin, expresses that no, you don't understand. I'm not the one you have to talk to.
Right.
You have entered the realm of my king. You need to come meet with him, and see what he wants. And then the dwarves,
and that's why it's important. That's why it's important to have had the Eol scene at the very beginning of this. So we see Thingol being territorial and being a king, saying, "I own all this land."
Right. Yes.
Like, so Mablung is not making this up. Like, he knows that Thingol cares about stuff like this.
Yeah. How tense should things get, do you think?
I think the first reaction is everyone is startled on both sides. So like the dwarves are scrambling for weapons and upset at first. But I don't think anyone should make an aggressive move. Like they're all just like waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Mablung probably calls out to them. Some kind of greeting. Yeah. And then the one dwarf who speaks his language responds back, and that calms everyone down a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Should any of them because obviously they're going to have a separate conversation before they express, because Mablung's, do we feel like Mablung is going to bring up in the first scene where he first meets them that they have to talk to Thingol, that they have to come with him and meet with Thingol?
Not in the like, hello, who are you? People I've never seen before conversation, but after that, like, 'cause you'd think they're going to stay there for a few days and interact with each other. So somewhere in that time, Mablung is going to have a conversation with the one dwarf he can talk to and explain, look, I don't actually represent all the elves. I serve a king.
Where is it that Eol goes? Which of the two cities is the one that he goes to all the time?
They wanted Eol to work with Telkar.
Yeah.
And Telkar is from Nogrod.
Okay.
Now, whether or not that's the city that Eol actually visits canonically, I'd have to double check. I'm guessing not, but I could be wrong.
I mean, it seems to kind of make sense. But in the meantime...
yeah, but the point is they wanted him to be working with Telkar, so that's Nogrod.
Okay. So is that the whatchamacallit? The resolution of what do you think the resolution of this scene is? That they start talking, and where does that go? Do we think?
If the elves are going to say you can't build this road here because this is our land, the dwarves are going to take issue with that, saying, since when is this your land? It's our road. We built it here. We didn't see you around when we started.
Yeah, yeah. And where are your buildings? Show.
Yeah, where's your... What do you mean you claim this territory? I see no evidence that you've claimed this land at all. There's nothing built.
Well, I mean, that was literally one of the big issues that caused conflict between the Native Americans and the Europeans, was the fact that when the Europeans would pay off the Native Americans for use of the land, the Native Americans would be like, ha 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 ha, they just gave us all this stuff for land. They don't know anything.
It's a different concept of what is valuable. Yeah. Or ownership even. Yeah, because you don't... Not all cultures have a concept of owning land.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should see a difference in opinion on how you claim a territory, and this is a territorial dispute essentially. But so there should be some anger associated with those rival claims, and that's when Mablung would have to bring up that, hey, I can't give you permission to do this myself because I don't have that authority. So, who in your group has authority to speak for your kingdom? And it's like, oh, none of us, not the road crew. So like they kind of both would figure out, we don't actually have the authority to resolve a territory dispute. So we need to set up a meeting between the bigwigs to get this sorted out.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that you're thinking happens in a separate conversation. What I'm trying to figure out is, what do we think the resolution of the initial confrontation is? If he doesn't bring up, you need to talk to Thingol,
then what do they say to each other?
Right. I have discovered that Eol would visit the mansions of both Nogrod and Belagost. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can just go with first contact conversation topics.
Okay.
Like, who are you? Where do you live? Where are you from? What is this all about? Kind of stuff.
Okay.
Before they get into the territory dispute and the kingdom issue.
So maybe they get past the what in God's name are you? And maybe one of the dwarves offers them the fabled hospitality of the dwarves.
Yeah. Yes, so they could agree to like sit down and share a drink or something.
Right. Yeah.
Which would be, see, we're all friends here. That would be a resolution, I think, to that. So yeah, so the first scene should just be first contact stuff, not politics.
Yes.
And it could be people sizing each other up, trying to figure out what just happened here.
Right.
Like, so there can be some of that. It's like they can still be tense or uneasy, but they've at least agreed to sit down and be friendly.
Okay. All right. So that takes care of our first scene in Act 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a break real quick. We'll be back in a second if you're watching this live. If you're watching this on YouTube in the future, definitely like and share the videos. If you like and want to share them, if you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe. Check out the links below for more info. We'll be back in a minute.